What's going on, America? Kevin from Kevin's Corner, where I try to make some sense out of nonsense. And I just want to take a second to show you just how shifty and how disingenuous these Democrats are when they are talking about serious problems that are impacting the United States and our citizens. See, how they misplace blame, how they shift it towards something else, how they distract, how they use gaslighting, all of these tactics that they use when it comes down to them not accepting responsibility for some of the garbage that's going on around the country. Starting off with this dude, Dick Durbin, have the nerve to come in talking about some illegal immigration. Now, I want you to pay very close attention to this tactic. So next time you see it, you'll be able to call it out. So let's go ahead and get into this and see what old Dick Durbin has to say about illegal immigration. Before we get into this video, make sure you hit like, share my videos, subscribe if you haven't subscribed already. Also, make sure that your notifications are on and they're set to all. Now, let's get into this. But first, quick commercial break. Central banks are increasing their gold reserves due to increasing global financial concerns. Billionaires like Ray Dalio to giant fund management companies like Goldman Sachs are turning to physical assets like gold. And you know what? That's not surprising. Historically, gold's biggest rally happened after the biggest recession in history. In fact, after the 2007 into 2009 recession, gold prices jumped 50.6%. Now think about what that means. Wealth of entire countries are being protected by gold. Wealth of billionaires are being protected by gold. Everyone who knows, many are using gold to keep their billions safe. And Noble Gold Investments can help you protect your own wealth too with gold. Now, it'll only take you no more than 5 minutes to set up an account. Noble Gold specializes in storing the value of your wealth through gold IRAs. So they're the natural choice. And they're giving away a beautiful 1/10 ounce gold American Eagle coin with every qualifying IRA or 401k this month. Do something different. Call the team now at 877-646-5347 to find out more, or you can simply visit noblegoldinvestments.com. That's noblegoldinvestments.com. Now, let's get to this video.
It is pathetic that these governors are taking advantage of these helpless people. Why is it when the Republicans want to enforce their immigration theories, it's always the kids that end up being the victims?
And why is it that whenever the Democrats want to get people off their back about their horrible policies and how they've enabled all of these people in regards to, inviting them to come across that border? Remember Joe Biden? Yeah, if I was president, I'd tell them to search the border. And they did what he said. That's all they did. No wonder they came with Biden, we're coming shirts on and things of that nature. No wonder that Coyote was in that canoe down there doing an interview bragging about how the Biden administration has made business so good for them that they can't even keep up. But here is Dick Durbin saying now all of a sudden it's the Republicans using the kids. So whenever the Democrats want to get some type of bill passed, some type of policy push, or just simply get people off their back for criticizing them for their horrible policies, it's always the kids. Somehow they're sliding in the kids. The kids make their way into every scenario. I wonder if Dick Durbin is going to be talking about those kids that were unfortunately given to all of these human traffickers under the Obama administration, under, I guess, just the assumption that it gotta be their fathers. Yeah, gave them. We found those kids somewhere in Ohio, somewhere, and being trafficked. But he wasn't worried about the kids then, see. So whenever they're exposed for all of their garbage policies, it's the kids. Now, all of a sudden, you got to think about the kids. You know why? Because that breaks people down and gets them into an emotional approach towards some very obvious policies that led to these kids. Now, if he wants to talk about kids, we can do that. But let's finish hearing him try to misplace this blame first.
We saw it with kids in cages. We saw it with the forcible removal of children from their parents, some who've never been reunited with their families.
See, now here we go. Once again, we saw it with kids in cages, as if Obama didn't have kids in cages, if Biden didn't have kids in cages. It's funny how only those kids were in cages when Donald Trump was the president. But under the other two presidents, the kids weren't in cages. What were they in? Little teeny dog houses, holding cells perhaps. What are these people talking about? It's like they forget that these are things you can look up. Maybe people didn't see all of those kids under those sweaty hot bridges with those illegal immigrants that were parked outside. Maybe they didn't see Ted Cruz go up in there and film all of those kids in cages. Maybe they didn't see all of those Democrats refusing to allow the press to come in. And I wonder why. I wonder why the press couldn't come in and see those kids apparently that were living in luxury and stuff. Why is it that the Democrats always have a totally different view of what's going on down at the border than the actual border patrol. Isn't that crazy? How these are folks who sit up in Washington. They are nice, comfortable places. They got air conditioning. They wear their fancy suits like Dick Durbin there. And yet when you hear from real border patrol officers, they don't say what these people are saying. They're not sitting back talking about the kids are in cages and they're being ripped. They talk about Democrat policies that are putting a strain on the system, putting them in compromising situations where they got to babysit these kids. And what do Dick Durbin expect to happen when you cross our border and we have to hold you for a minute? What do you want us to do with the kid? Send the kid back across by itself? Do you think we should throw the kid in there with all of these adults? I mean, then you'll be talking about you put the kids in unsafe environments, they could be molested and stuff. But I guess logic goes all out the window when you start talking about kids being ripped from their parents, but not telling why. Not saying what led to those kids being ripped from their parents. What led to those parents putting their kids in positions like that and coming here. And then he got the nerve to say some never been returned to their parents. You mean like the ones that they sent off to all of those human traffickers under the Obama administration? Probably never made it. Probably never made it back to their parents. Interesting. But let's finish hearing him try to gaslight people and misplace the blame to get the heat off the Democrat Party who's responsible for this catastrophe at the border.
And now, once again, it's the kids and families that are put on these buses
kids and families
transported for political purposes across the United States.
Wow. Kids and families exploited for political purposes across the United States. As you guys called everyone a bigot that didn't believe in sanctuary cities, everyone a bigot that didn't want illegal immigrants coming into their city and disturbing their education system, their medical system, all of these areas, completely displacing all of the people that live in the neighborhoods that these Democrats don't have to worry about. Shoving all of these folks into those neighborhoods that impact those communities where the Democrats ain't got to worry about that. And yet he's talking about the kids. They don't care about the families. Did this man say anything when that Border Patrol agent had to jump in that river to save those two traffickers that almost drowned and he ended up drowning himself? Did he say anything about that guy? Did he say anything about all those kids that died on the journey? Those kids that died in that truck that was hot down there in Texas. They left the kids in there and the kids died along with some adults. What about the kids they drop over the wall? The ones they throw in the river? The ones they leave out in the desert? All coming because of Democrat policies that are appetizing to them. Do you think they would take this risk if they knew they couldn't get in? But there's more that Dick got to say.
Some of them, one family I met, it's been 5 months coming up from Venezuela, literally walking to our border.
And you don't find that to be a problem?
Every possible outrage that you can imagine, from theft, stealing their cell phones, pushing them into a jungle for a period of time where this man didn't think he could survive. And they finally made it to the United States, only to be exploited by the governor of Texas.
Now, you see how this man is focusing on the thing that doesn't matter? He's talking about the journey that this man had to take, or this family had to take, or whatever, to come all over here walking for 5 months through all these different countries. So just the very story that he just tried to use as leverage to tickle somebody's heart and all of that stuff shows the problem. You just jumped over the whole problem. You want us to focus on the journey and the stress of the journey when you really should be talking about why are these people making this journey for that many weeks or whatever to get here? Why aren't they stopping at the first country that they come to if they're coming for asylum? Why are they making the trek through all of these other countries just to get to our border? Wouldn't it be more advantageous for them and easier to save their money, not have to pay the coyotes? Also, don't put their family at risk for the journey or the coyotes or the family being kidnapped or whatever because they might not be able to pay the cartel to get here. All of these problems wouldn't even occur if there wasn't some benefit for all of these people to trek through all of those countries, all of those miles to get to our border. So yet, instead of saying that's the problem, he wants us to say because this man took the journey and this family took the journey and they get here and then they put on a nice comfortable bus and then sent somewhere else in that nice cool bus and all of that stuff, way better than that journey, I must say. But just because they did that, they're being mistreated and exploited. Not the fact that the Democrat Party has been exploiting these people for decades. Unreal. But see, I got to expose this stuff.
Donald Trump did nothing to solve
See,
it.
Yesterday, you
now listen to
repeatedly
Black
blamed
Kid
the Trump administration for what we're seeing at the southern border.
Blame Trump.
Record crossings
Misplaced blame.
under President Biden. One migrant we interviewed yesterday thanks the president for keeping the border open.
Oh, thank you.
So
Thank you, the president.
Confirm
That's
the
how
way that
the
this
legal immigrants
administration
see it.
sees it. ending Remain in Mexico
Ending
or Title 42
Mexico.
had nothing to do with the surge that we're seeing.
So let me just step back for a second.
Yeah,
and
do that. Look at the eyes. See
lay
the
out
line
what we
eyes?
have done
Rapid blinks?
under this administration. 23,000 agents and officers, more than 1,200 additional support personnel working to secure
To
our
do what?
nation's borders.
To
That's
do what?
more than what was happening in the last administration.
Now, see, this is another tactic. See, busy work. Busy work, talking about all the stuff they've done, but those things aren't working, or they're done for a purpose of helping increase more illegal immigrants into the country. So when you just throw out stuff, you know what, we got 23,000 more agents hired to do this and this and that. Do what? Are they hired to stop the people from coming, or are they hired to process them and get them into the country quicker? See, these are the things that these folks try to pull over on us and just throw it out there like, look, we're doing stuff. You don't need all those people if you secure the border, if you build the wall, if you let these people know that you're not supposed to be here. Trump didn't need all of those people because we were utilizing the people that we had to get the whole immigration thing under control. You don't build more beds and more facilities if the goal is to stop these people from coming to the country, but yet they accuse Trump of not building enough facilities and not having enough beds prepared. You know what that looks like? That looks like everybody, we're preparing and welcoming you all because we want guests. What you do is you discourage them by saying, you're not going to be able to sleep in a nice, cool place. We're not putting you on no bus. We're not taking you into the interior. We're not shuttling you all over the country and letting you see your mommy and your papi and all of your friends and cousins and stuff. We're not doing that. We're not giving you cell phones. We're not going to sit back and tell you that, you know what, we're going to treat you better than we treat our own citizens. We're not going to give you no type of medical care. We're going to make you stay in Mexico until we can figure out why you're trying to get into our country, who you are, and if you are lying to us, which most of you are, we're sending you back. Now, if you had that approach, don't you think they would stop coming and you wouldn't need to hire 23,000 new agents unless you were trying to process more of these people quickly and get them in? Let's see what else she got to lie about.
Every individual that is encountered at the border is taken to CBP custody and processed and vetted by Border Patrol agents.
And sent right into the interior?
Individuals taken into CBP custody are either expelled under the CDC's Title 42 authority as required by court order or placed in a removal procedures. In fact, more individuals encountered at the border will be removed or expelled this year than any previous year.
Because more individuals are coming through our border than any other year in history. It's a numbers game. If you are breaking records on monthly illegal immigrants coming across the border, of course you're going to have more encounters. See, they play with the numbers. Just like they're always talking about black people are disproportionately approached by police officers, but they never want to talk about the amount of encounters that black people have with police officers in certain areas due to the crime. So the real question is, why are they committing all that crime in Democrat-ran cities? That's what I want to know. So of course you're going to have more encounters with the police. There's more crime. Same thing with this. Here she is talking about that more people are going to be sent back. Well, I would hope so. And I even question that because they'll put them in a holding facility and next thing you know, they're in our interior somehow. So let's continue hearing about these lies. See, I got to expose this. I got to. It's greater than me.
That is just a fact.
Crossing number. I mean, you're reading off, expulsions and things like that because all these people are coming over.
Yes, and they're also being encountered. Individuals encountered are also being removed or expelled in this year, removed more in this year than any previous year.
Why would the president turn down a DHS plan then to
She's like, leave me be. You know I don't know this stuff. You know lying about this mess. I got a script to stick to.
I was just asked about this question that's been already asked and answered. I literally just answered that question.
So don't ask me again.
What your answer was. Did he turn down the plan or?
When this is over, you can look at the transcript.
Oh, she gets smart.
You won't clarify.
I literally,
because I can't.
Jackie, I just answered that question.
Yeah, I can't clarify.
Then that the system that you have in place is working?
What we are asking for Congress to act.
That's not what she asked you.
Again, on the president's first day in this administration, he put forth a comprehensive immigration reform.
What is that?
And instead of Republicans playing political games, using people's lives, humans, individuals, children, families as political pawns,
there it is,
they
kids,
should help
the
us
families.
and work with us in finding solutions, and they are not. And again, there is an immigration legislation, a comprehensive immigration legislation that we put forth on day one. And again, Republicans have voted, many of them have voted against the funding, record funding for DHS. So we're willing to figure out how to fix this problem.
Are you really?
We are. We put forth ways to do this. We put forth policies to do this, and we put forth ways to make sure that we are dealing with a broken system.
Acknowledgement that
I just answered your question. We're moving on.
Now, when in doubt, pull the parachute. See, now let me go ahead and decipher what she just tried to do. First thing she did is dodge the whole question. When she asked her, "Do you think what you're doing now is working?" No, it's not working, and she knows it. She can't say yes, it's working, because the numbers don't lie. See, all of that other stuff talking about the kids and the families and ripping and all of that stuff, she went into, oh, what we're wanting is for you guys to give us the ability to give all of these millions of people amnesty, continue to let them in with some flimsy accusations of I'm being persecuted in my country and I need asylum. And also, we want you all to give these people citizenship so they can become our next voter base. That's what we want. But because y'all aren't willing to do that, and you see through it, and you know that we're the cause of the problem, now we're going to blame you for not wanting to work with us, even though our plan won't solve it. It's no different than when they talk about gun legislation and control. The Republicans won't work with us. You know why? Because we know you're disingenuous. We know that you really have a bigger agenda. We're able to see your motive. And then when it comes down to all the money that the Democrats talk about, we're going to give money for this and that, they don't use the money for the right stuff. They'll mess around and use the money to fly these people all around. They'll mess around and use that money for buses, for cell phones, for baby formula for all of these people. We're not here to pay for all of that stuff. We're not going to fund you guys, and you don't use the money to stop the problem. You use it to create a bigger problem. So that's what she's not telling everybody. And then to conclude me exposing these Democrats and how disingenuous and fake and all the tactics that they use, we're going to end with Sheila Jackson / Mahalia Jackson / the woman with the donut sitting on the back of her head talking about, I guess, women's health care or something. Now, this is another tactic that they do. They hide their real motive under fixing up and playing with the definitions and terms. See, they don't want to tell you that these are illegal immigrants, so they're just undocumented citizens. They don't want to tell you that we're pushing for abortion, so it's what? It's women's health care. That's all it is. Reproductive care. Soften the term so people don't look at it in its true form. So listen to this hidden motive in this bill that Sheila Mahalia Jackson is proposing
today as well, Mr. Speaker, to introduce and acknowledge the SHIELD Act. Shield doctors, nurses, and other reproductive health care providers from harassment, litigation, and draconian law. I ask my colleagues to join me in supporting this legislation that will protect pregnant people and the medical personnel who provide reproductive health care services to them, and will prevent interference, restrictions, retaliation against doctors, nurses, nurse midwives, nurse practitioners, and physician assistants, and others who evaluate, diagnose, advise, treat, or provide other services
time has expired.
in order to protect them, to give health care, to stop women from standing outside the door of doctors' offices and not getting care. I ask my colleagues to support the SHIELD Act. I yield back.
Now that was packed rich, full of propaganda, hidden motives, and disinformation. Now this woman just said that she needs a bill to protect healthcare workers from just doing services for women. That's all. That's all. So please go find me the group of women that are pregnant, standing outside, and apparently what the Republicans are trying to stop doctors from giving them some type of health care. Does that make any rational sense? So if you look at that in its purest form, because she said to protect women, pregnant women, to protect them from what? I mean, if you're pregnant and you want to have the baby, you don't think a doctor would help you? You don't think a midwife would help you? Who are these people out here persecuting these doctors, midwives, and all of these people she's suggesting that are being persecuted for giving health care to pregnant women? Or could it be that these are people who Democrats want to be able to give abortions to a lot of women who their state might not allow them to get the abortion, and therefore these doctors, midwives, and nurses could be held accountable for doing something that violates state legislation? So is she really trying to protect the women that are pregnant, or is she trying to protect them and their right to go and get rid of that pregnancy? It is so disingenuous and so dishonest what these people are doing by changing up the terms, trying to assign a motive that is not true, trying to demonize whoever. Because I'm thinking, who are these evil people? If I was a dummy, of course. Who are these evil people walking around? Is that a lady standing outside the doctor's office that's 8 or 9 months and all she wants is simple reproductive health care? That's it? She just want to make sure the baby's heartbeat is strong and that she's on time to deliver. You know what? Forget that. Forget that. Come on, let's pull over there. Go in there and tell that doctor, don't you be giving this pregnant lady any type of medical assistance because she's on her own. She needs to go back home. She needs to get some hot water and some towels and let her husband or her neighbor or somebody deliver this baby, because if you do that, we will take you into court and punish you for it. So now you telling me all these doctors, midwives, and nurses got to go underground just to help deliver all of these babies? Or could it be they got to go underground to deliver all of these abortions? See, but Sheila Jackson tries to make it seem like it's some evil people out there that just simply want to stop these people from giving health care to women. And now they got them all standing outside. She didn't mention all of the women that might be standing outside would be wanting abortions. Anybody that don't want an abortion probably could go into a health facility and say, hey, look, I don't want no abortion. I just need real women's health care, not this fake cover-up and this new definition of women's health care. This is a disguise for me getting an abortion. And I really don't understand why these Democrats are in love with abortion like that. Really, I don't. I don't understand how anybody who is, relatively aware of what they really mean and what their intentions are in regards to long-term abortion could even support this crap. It's one thing to even say, you know what, the way abortion was one thing, but did Sheila Jackson get up here and say a part of that means 9 months and beyond abortions? Did she say that? Did she mention that in her little bill that she's trying to get passed? It's so disingenuous, it's so fake, it's so dishonest, and I have to expose it. I'm sorry I had to do it to him, but it's greater than me. You know how it is, man. I can't let that mess slide. Yeah, man. So I had to do a psych op. I had to break that mess down so folks don't be deceived by the trickery. Now, if you want some more of that, subscribe to my channel, hit that like button, share my videos, all of that good stuff. Follow me on all the social media platforms, because we already know what they're trying to do to keep this type of message and exposure from not getting out to the people. So please do that for me. And I think you'll be blessed by all of my videos, because I try to make some sense out of nonsense. And 9 times out of 10, no, you know what? I'm going to go with 10 times out of 10. I do. All right. Those that want to donate to Kevin and Kevin's Corner, feel free. All the links are below this video. And don't forget, check out my podcast, all that good stuff. And we'll see y'all next time in Kevin's Corner. Take care. God bless.